Now let's paint the eyes and the eyebrows. So once we've got a texture for the face that is closer to what we want, then we can start to concentrate on some of the other pieces. So let's start with the eyes. Let's go ahead and isolate those. And this, it might be a little bit easier to actually go in and paint on the UV layout. So what we can do is go to Mesh, Flatten to UV Space. Let's turn on Wireframe, and then we can actually paint on this. So here's our iris, here's our pupil. Let's go in with our paintbrush and black, as black as we can get. Okay, and let's go ahead and paint through our pupil. Same thing here. I'm going to take white, maybe a little bit off white with maybe a little bit of pink in it, and paint through everything else. Okay, that's probably a little bit too pink, so we'll take some of that out. Okay, and we'll paint through everything else, because remember the white right now is coming from the actual material, which we don't want. So I'll just paint through this. Okay, and then we can come in and paint through our iris. So we'll get, I just want to get kind of a brown, something fairly dark, maybe something like that. And let's come in here and start to paint through this. So we can just kind of paint around here. And just paint that brown color in on a flat UV layout versus the rounded eye, which may make things a little bit easier for us. Okay, just coming in and filling that in. And I'll just draw that around in sort of a circle. And we'll just kind of concentrate on the one here. But I can come in, and we may need to clean this up a little bit, but I'll just real quickly drop that in. We can also use Dodge to come in with a small brush stroke, and we can also get one of these vertical lines for our as a stamp. Come in, turn off randomize, and then we can just start to paint in the light and dark striations in the eye. So we can come in here and draw those in. Now if you have an image of an eye, of an iris that you like and you want to use that, you can certainly do that. You just use it as a stencil and use projection painting to paint through that. I'm not going to worry too much about the actual eye. I want to get the same stamp, turn off randomize again. Let's make this a little bit smaller. And then just work that in. And so I'm just going to real quickly paint this in. Now once we're done, we can go ahead and say unflatten from UV space. And then you can sort of see what that's going to look like there. Okay, so you can see we need to come in and clean up a little bit of that up, but we can certainly do that. Now we go ahead and show all. Okay, I'm going to actually edit that material, and I'm going to turn down the spec just a little bit. Just decrease that a bit. Okay, so we just want to do the other eye the same way. Now for the eyebrow, we can either create a new paint layer, or we can just paint right in this head color layer, which is what we'll do. So I'm going to choose paintbrush. Let's get a black again, or whatever color hair that you want to give him, but for this character it's going to be very dark. And so we'll get something like that, and then we can just start to paint through. I'll turn on mirroring. I'm going to get a small brush size, and I'm not going to really use a stamp, so we can start to come in here and just paint these areas. And so now it's just a matter of being real careful about painting through these different spots and adding paint. On some of these areas you can be a little bit less careful. In some of these areas where it's right up against the skin, you just want to be a little bit more careful probably, so you don't get paint on the skin. Okay, and then we just want to paint through this. Coming in here, adding a bit of paint to the eyebrows. Okay, so once you give that a shot, come in, and that's going to be, that paint's going to be located on our main paint layer for the head. And then the next thing that we will look at is adding some stubble to the face. So we're almost done, just a few more steps, and we'll go ahead and continue on with that in the next lesson.